So I've got mushrooms going right here. I cooked them in a little bit of butter. That's gonna give, you know how usually you put in like the can of condensed mushroom soup. And now I'm gonna add to it my celery. I want the celery to still have some bite to it. That's why I'm putting it in after the mushrooms.
Oh, I like this dish already.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna add to it a little bit of garlic and some Worcestershire sauce. I always like Worcestershire with mushrooms. I think it just brings out their meatiness. And some fresh thyme. I'm gonna crank up the heat a little bit on this, and I'm gonna salt it. Salt the mushrooms after you cook them down instead of when you first put them in the pan. Otherwise, it just pulls out the water too fast and you don't get any caramelization. So for our creamy dressing, I'm actually starting off with a little bit of yogurt. So I do a little plain yogurt, and I've got my mayonnaise and some Parmesan cheese.
Gonna be good.
Okay.
It's gonna be good.
And I've got sherry vinegar here.
The best vinegar.
Yes. Some salt
Don't you find that
and some pepper.
string bean salad cold? The beans, it's one of those dishes, the beans have to be really cold.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I put them back in the fridge and keep them cold, so you get that cold snap.
Totally. And it is important to blanch those green beans.
Yes.
Yes. So I took my mushroom celery mixture out of the skillet and I spread it onto a sheet pan so that it would cool off more quickly. I've got my dressing already here, and I'm gonna go ahead and put these green beans straight in. All right, so green beans go in. Now you see, after I blanched these green beans, I put them onto a paper towel lined pan so any extra water gets absorbed, because water's really the enemy in a salad. You do not want it to be all wet and soggy. It dilutes your dressing. All right, let's put our mushrooms and celery. We've got garlic, thyme going in there. And now, because I like a little bit more fresh crunch, I'm just gonna put some romaine in here as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I like this fresh moment and having the tang of the yogurt and the sherry vinegar. I think it really just wakes everything up on Thanksgiving. And I'm just gonna toss all the dressing,
Just throw
get it nice and coated, and we're just gonna get it all covered. I like Parmesan cheese in there. What do you usually have on a green bean casserole?
Do it. Do it.
Well, you got some almonds, so let's
yeah,
put
I like
those.
that.
Oh, really? I've never had that on a
Yeah,
green bean
I
casserole.
like little almonds, and you always have the crunchy fried onions.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, so get those right on there. So it's all the elements of the green bean casserole, but made really fresh tasting.
Oh,
I could not stop eating this.
I'm going in for the salad first.
I'm not sure what's more important. How welcome all these textures are at the Thanksgiving table. When you're having like purees and turkey and you just, the crunch of this, the vibrancy. Also, everything is individually seasoned. Because you cooked the celery and the mushrooms together, it just built the base. It tastes like a green bean salad and a green bean casserole, and then it just stops. And it goes in a different direction of a juicy salad with the nuts, the crunchy onions. This is dynamite.
Anytime I cook with green beans, it reminds me of my grandma. I would always have to snap these little pesky ends off, bags and bags of ends. But this time, I'm not snapping the ends because I'm making this salad rustic. I'm gonna start my vinaigrette. A heavy tablespoon of yellow mustard, 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, about a 1/3 cup of olive oil, a little bit of honey. It's gonna be like a sweet and tangy vinaigrette, similar flavor to the barbecue sauce, 2 grated cloves of garlic, salt and pepper. The great thing about this salad is that it's hearty and it feeds a crowd. It goes a very long way. Time to assemble my salad. I'm gonna put in the green beans, red kidney beans. It's so pretty already. White beans, some baby lima beans. Just gonna give it a little toss before I add in my final ingredients. All right, I'm gonna push this to a side. I'm gonna add in some green scallions. Cilantro, just to add some of that herby flavor to it as well. And if you don't love cilantro, you can always leave that out. Cranberries, I used honey in the vinaigrette, so cranberries just add a little bit of extra sweetness. And a handful of sliced almonds. And almonds are just gonna add in texture. And just like that, it's done.
Are you ready to make some cheese sauce?
I'm ready. I was born for this.
You're gonna start with some butter and then you're gonna whisk in some flour.
Okay.
While Katie's doing all that, I just have some green beans that I'm trimming. Super easy. Just cut off the little ends of them, and then they're gonna go on my sheet pan.
And I'm
Woo.
guessing you want me to just cook this for about a minute and get that flour taste out of it.
Absolutely. Okay, so that looks good, and now you're gonna whisk in that hot milk.
Okay.
Okay, so I have green beans, shiitake mushrooms, and then, you know, a lot of people like bacon in their casseroles, but I like the salt, but to keep it vegetarian for everybody at your Thanksgiving, I'm putting in some capers.
Okay. Oh, I like
and then
that
they
idea.
roast up and get crunchy and salty and delicious, but are friendly for everybody.
Some garlic powder, is that what this is?
Yes,
Okay.
garlic powder and pepper.
So garlic
Any
powder
salt
and pepper
or
into
no?
the roux.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I'm going, again, salt and pepper as well as a little bit of olive oil. Oh, ooh. And that's all, look how easy that is.
That is very easy.
It looks pretty already, right?
Really pretty.
So I love using an oven like this when my other ovens are full at the holidays. So drop those down and then look at this. Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, right?
All right, my cheese sauce is thickening up.
It looks beautiful. Looks really nice. Let's test the consistency.
Oh, yes. Nappe.
Old schooling, girl.
Nappe.
Okay, so it really, any kind of a cheese sauce that you're making or a bechamel has to come up to a boil. Look at that, perfect. So now you can stir in that goat cheese.
Okay.
Ooh, nice job. So these are great roasted, but they'd also be wonderful air fried that you can also do in an oven like this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, right? Okay, I'm gonna
Good.
grab this. So this is, you know, people are big fans of things that are deconstructed or like kind of look all chefy. So casserole never looks that pretty, right?
No, it doesn't.
But it does when you put it on a tray.
A foundation of cheese sauce.
Exactly.
That's called a schmear.
Hello.
Look at that. It's so velvety.
Wow.
Nice and smooth. And
That's
that's
so expertly made.
it was. It really was. Okay. So now you just put those green beans on the top of it.
I love this.
You're getting all the delicious things that you typically get in a green bean casserole, which is cheesy and ooey and gooey and creamy, but it's a little bit fresher. It's a little bit more fun. It's a little chefier. It's gonna make everybody ooh and
And you're
ah.
not covering the star of the show, which are the green
No,
beans,
look
right?
how pretty that looks.
That is so pretty.
Okay, now we just go on with a little bit of this. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, more cheese.
Just for the top. So we put a little bit more cheese on the top just to make it look pretty, honestly, because there's so much cheese in there. It's heaven. And
Well,
then,
you know, you forgot a few.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
Yeah, what are we waiting?
Thanksgiving,
19 over here.
Damaris.
Gotta let things.
Oh, I know
And
what those
then-
are.
Oh,
these
good.
are,
No, you didn't.
Cheese.
yeah, little crispy onions. Yeah.
Which is traditional. Right?
So you have every single part of a green bean casserole that you love.
That's right.
But it's super fast, it's super easy, and it's real delicious.
It's so pretty.
Thank you.
So
When does green bean
elegant.
casserole ever look like that?
Never.
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 This is
Not a-
what I imagine green bean casserole looks like in your house, Geoffrey. Like rich.
Now it's
Jeffrey's like, we've never had a casserole in my
I know.
house.
It's not true, Katie.
I'm gonna plate some more just so you all can have it as well, because it's not Thanksgiving if everybody's not eating and in a food coma.
And we talked about resting our turkey for at least an hour. I
Yeah.
mean, you could do 6 of these in only
Totally.
10 minutes within that time.
Boom.
You know what I love about this?
Yes.
Because you roasted those green beans, they have this nice crunch to them that you don't necessarily get in the casserole. The nice tang from the goat cheese in there, which is gonna be really important.
Okay, wait.
And then the salty capers,
And those mushrooms.
the
which
mushrooms, give it a good umami bit.
No
Typically,
more can of cream of mushroom sauce, huh?
Well, you saw how easy that was. Why would you open a can when you
That's
can do
right.
that?
We have a
Ready.
bucatini. I have it in salted water, a little olive oil, a few slices of garlic, pepperoncini, some pepper. Okay, we're just gonna stir this around. I'm going to add lemon juice, lemon zest of 3 lemons. And what I'm gonna add to that is just a little pasta water. Now I'm just gonna put that right in the broth. So we have the pasta now, it's cooking into this, a little bit of butter. To this, we're gonna add some fresh green beans for a little color. It's Pecorino Romano, but I've really grated it, and then we're gonna toss it in. You wanna toss in cheese always 1 or 2 times. Okay, a little bit more, and I think we're good to go. Ooh. Pasta al limone.
I love the addition of the green beans in there.
Is that good? A little parsley. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
The freshness of the green beans are popping. This is delicious. The lemon is so bright in here.
I'm gonna whip up another one of my very favorite Thanksgiving side dishes, green beans and tomatoes. It starts with 8 slices of bacon. I just cut them into chunks, and I've been sauteing it just over medium-low heat. I just wanted to render the fat. So now I'm gonna throw in 1 chopped onion, bacon and onions cooking. I mean, there is nothing like it. I don't want to get too much color on it. I just want the onions to start cooking a little bit. All right, now I've got some fresh green beans and I just washed them up. And I am very relaxed about trimming green beans. I just sort of stack up a few and chop off the ends. This is about 2 pounds of green beans. All right, now on top of the green beans, I'm just gonna add 3 regular cans of whole tomatoes. You can do diced tomatoes, but I really like the big red chunks in the dish. Now I'll add in some salt and pepper, good amount of black pepper. And then this is the essential ingredient, cayenne pepper. It gives it just a little bit of spice. And I hate to say it, but that's it. I'm just gonna give them a quick stir, put the lid on, and let them simmer for an hour.
I'm gonna make a green bean casserole, but I'm gonna make it my way. All right, I'm gonna thinly slice 1 large red onion, and I'm gonna marinate it or have it sit in buttermilk for a couple of hours until it's time to fry. And the reason I like for my onions to sit in buttermilk, of course, so the flour and the dredge will stick to the onions. All right, so I have my onions here, thinly sliced. I'm gonna add some buttermilk just to submerge it into the bowl. I'm gonna let these hang out in the fridge until it's time to dredge and fry. All right, put that in there. So my green bean casserole starts off with fresh green beans that I'm snapping. You gotta take the ends off, the rough ends. And I'm just gonna boil them really quick, get them nice and soft. I'm gonna make a bechamel sauce with a little garlic powder, some milk, some sherry, which is typical in low country cuisine. I'm gonna bake it off and put crispy red onions on top. I'm snapping about 2 pounds of green beans. And this will be enough for a 9 by 13 casserole. I'm gonna boil them for a few minutes till they get a little soft. Remember, I'm gonna finish cooking it in the oven. While that's boiling, I have some baby bella mushrooms here. I'm gonna add it to my casserole. So there's green beans and mushrooms. I'm just gonna saute them in my cast iron skillet here with a little bit of butter. And when I saute them, I'm just gonna draw out some of that water because mushrooms do have a tendency to carry a lot of water. Hit it with some salt, help extract some of the water out of the mushrooms. I know when mushrooms are done cooking when the color starts to turn from this kind of like a grayish white to like a darker brown color. I want to grab my green beans because they're done, drain them and get them on some ice to stop the cooking process. Don't want them to cook anymore because I do have to put them in the oven. So the mushrooms look great. I'm gonna take them out and start my bechamel sauce, which is basically a cream sauce. I'm basically making a cream of mushroom sauce. The start of a bechamel sauce is normally butter and flour, then milk. All right, so I'm gonna add 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of flour. That's how it gets nice and thick. And I'm basically making a roux. Add a little bit of my sherry in there. I'd say about a 1/4 cup of sherry. Typically in a bechamel sauce, you will not find sherry. Just wanna give it a dry type of wine flavor. I'm gonna add in about 2 cups of milk. And you actually wanna use a whisk because you gotta break down the flour, otherwise you'll have clumps of flour in your bechamel. Now I wanna season my bechamel with cracked black pepper and some garlic powder. Starting to smell that. It's gonna take about 5 minutes until the sauce gets nice and thick. I wanna actually add back my mushrooms at this time. So this is perfect texture that I'm looking for. It just coats the spoon. I wanna turn it off. Let me grab my onions, super simple dredge. I'm gonna use about a cup of flour, a heavy teaspoon of my all-purpose seasoning, Just in case you don't know, I got some sweet paprika, some onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper. So just covering the onions in the flour. I have some oil that I have nice and hot back there in a cast iron skillet. I'm just gonna drop it in the oil, fry it up, super simple. Drop it like it's hot, because it is. They're golden brown. I'm gonna drop them off here. Got my green beans. So I'm gonna assemble the casserole, put the cream of mushroom in there, bake it off for a little bit, and then put the onions on later. I want it to still stay crispy on top. I wanna add my cream of mushroom right into this casserole dish. Mix it up. All right, I'm gonna pop my green bean casserole in the oven. Again, the oven is at 350. I wanna let this bake uncovered for about 15 to 20 minutes. All right, my green bean casserole is done. Oh man, look at that. Nice and bubbly and creamy. Ooh, that smells good. Last but not least, add those fried onions on top. And I like a lot of onion. I'm gonna put all of the onions on top there.
I start by blanching a pound of green beans, and I season it, as I say, with salt. Now, I didn't use fancy little French green beans. I just used straight up good old American string beans. This is just a quick blanch. I go straight into an ice bath. Going straight from hot to cold, you wanna make sure you're really cooling down your vegetables. That's how you get that extra crispy texture and you keep that vibrant green color. And then I just spread them out to drain them to get any excess water out of them. Now, there's not only green beans in a green bean casserole, there's also one of my favorite supermarket friends, white button mushrooms. I start with just 12 ounces of cleaned white button mushrooms. And while I slice these, I'll just heat up a tablespoon of butter. Then I just slice up my mushrooms. And then I drop the mushrooms in. And this is nice and easy. Season those mushrooms with a little bit of salt. And to give them a little pizzazz, 2 cloves of garlic, which I'll just grate and drop right into the mushrooms. I'll just let this cook down, and you'll see right away the liquid from the mushrooms will start seeping out. The smell of the garlic with the butter and the mushrooms is just gonna start to really come together. But to give it a little kick, I'm gonna add a teaspoon of Dijon mustard and a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Sift in 3 tablespoons of flour. It's gonna bring this green bean casserole together and give it nice body. Give it a nice stir. I really feel those mushrooms have cooked a little and they're just begging for a little richness. And I've chosen 2 very good weapons, sour cream and heavy cream. Measure out a cup, and maybe a little more because it's Thanksgiving, and drop that right in there. And to top that off, 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. Okay, so once the sour cream and the cream have had a minute to melt down, I'm gonna add my green beans in. I just love how these green beans just liven this up. I really feel this meal coming together. It's one of those times when I take a little Thanksgiving time out and just make a little garnish to make something extra special. So I'll take just 3 shallots that I peeled and broke into rounds. You can see that? To make them nice and crispy, I'll just drizzle them with a little flour. And to that, for a little panache, a pinch of the cayenne. These crispy little suckers are gonna go on top of our green bean casserole and create that crispy texture. And now, we fry. So I always test one first. And it should come up to the surface, nice and gentle. I love that sound. So you're putting together a green bean casserole. Don't forget those crispy shallots on top, though. That's that finishing touch.
Traditional green bean casserole usually involves cracking open some cans of green beans, some other cans of things, mixing them together and baking them. But I make a homemade green bean casserole that is so good, it is over the top delicious. I've got some butter that I melted in a pan, and I sprinkled in a 1/4 cup of flour. And I'll just whisk this together. I'm basically making a roux as the basis for a sauce. And I'll just let that cook around for a couple of minutes. And while that's cooking, I'll measure some milk and half and half, which I think makes for a pretty darn good green bean casserole. I'll do 2.5 cups of whole milk, and a little half and half, about half a cup. All right, this is cooked and it's looking good. So I'm just gonna pour the milk and whisk it as it goes in. With the classic green bean casserole, creamy soup is one of the ingredients. So this is sort of to replace the creamy soup. All right, this is gonna take a few minutes to bubble up. And just like the meatballs, this is a perfect dish for potluck because I can make it the night before, keep it in the fridge, and then bake it the next day. I'm gonna go ahead and season it with a little salt, plenty of pepper. Why is black pepper so good in white sauce? They just go together. And a little cayenne. This is another thing that sets it apart from the traditional green bean casserole. It's got a little bit of a kick to it. Now I'll just let this cook for a few minutes and thicken and bubble up. And I'm gonna grate some cheddar cheese. You can also do Monterey Jack cheese, which would keep the dish nice and white and creamy. But I love cheddar cheese. And I have a big block in my fridge I need to use up. So, all right, I need about a cup. And I've been talking about cheese so long that I actually grated more than a cup, but I'll go ahead and use it. You can never have too much cheese. Well, maybe you can, but I haven't found a limit yet. Okay, now I'll let the cheese melt into the sauce. This is gonna turn into a wonderful, delicious cheese sauce. And then I'm gonna add this skillet full of utter deliciousness. I just fried 4 slices of bacon cut into pieces in a skillet over medium heat for about 2 minutes. Then I added a half a large onion that I diced, a finely diced red bell pepper, 3 cloves of minced garlic, then cooked them for 3 to 5 minutes. Oh, this smells so good. Bacon smells good no matter what you cook it with. Then I'll just stir it. And that's the sauce for the green bean casserole. Okay, now for the green beans. I blanched these green beans, and that's part of what sets this apart from your average green bean casserole, which is commonly made with canned green beans. I just blanched the green beans, threw them into boiling water for about a minute, minute and a half, and then I plunged them into ice water to stop the cooking process. And what that did is it just brightened them up, made them really, really beautiful and green, and it's gonna let them stay crisp in this casserole. All right, I'll just even those up. And then the sauce gets poured all over the top. Oh my word, this looks good. And it smells good, and it's gonna taste good. Who knew green bean casserole could be so decadent? Yummy. Then I'll just spread it to even it out. And then for the top of the casserole, I like to use panko breadcrumbs, which are nice and crisp and crunchy. The traditional topping for green bean casserole is usually French fried onions or crumbled potato chips, and I like those too. But this is just a nice updated change. All right, you gotta try this. It is so good.